Good morning and welcome back, YouTube. So it's still Tuesday morning, July 11th, 2023, 7:58 a.m. Yeah, I stuck around the zone a little longer than I planned to, and it's all good. Breakfast starts at 7 o'clock. I was hoping it would be 6. You know, by the time I figured out it started at 7, it was already about 6:15, 6:20, something like that. And I figured, what the heck, it'd be a good time for me to, you know, get me a hot breakfast, kind of regroup myself, check some stuff, go through messages, you know, that kind of thing. And check all my various banking apps and see if the tiny bit of money coming in is gonna offset the money going out. And yeah, I'm overdrawn, but I need to get on top of that. I probably need to go to Chase Bank today. That's not a thing I'd like to do at this point. That's a thing I need to do at this point. Although I think I want to try one more attempt when I get home to recover my online banking. Maybe I can do that. I hope. Oh, it's already getting pretty hot. It feels awfully muggy. In fact, looking at the sky, they said there's a chance of maybe a monsoon storm today. I don't know. It doesn't quite look like incoming monsoon storm looking up there, but it does. It's definitely overcast and yeah, it's already feeling pretty muggy out here. These apartments still blow my mind. That right in the midst of all this, like altawd.com. That was a fun website to search, looking at the models and the pictures, and yeah, it's a whole lot more than I would pay to live down here. But you know, I would love to get some statistics of what percentage of those apartments are actually occupied. I would imagine it's not many of them, but I could be wrong. There's a lot of people that want urban living spaces, and a lot of people moving to Arizona from elsewhere that just don't really know what this area is like. Whoa. I get noise coming out of my pocket. Having some issues with my iPhone screen. I need to make some time to go see Al as well. As I mentioned before, the what do you call it? The lock button. Like, it works, but it doesn't click, and so it's super awkward to. It's kind of super awkward to use. The only time it becomes like kind of problematic for me is when I want to do a screenshot. It's very tricky to take screenshots of, and that's something I do frequently. Sure wish I knew how to drive one of these. I could get so many more jobs if I had any experience driving this kind of a forklift, but I don't, and it's a lot more different from what I'm used to driving than even a reach truck is. And wow, I just realized I have the camera turned the wrong direction. Whoops.
One at 91st Avenue, the other at 16th Street. They're both eastbound, and they're both on the right shoulder, but there's lots of brake lights on the 10 this morning. Bring an extra dozen minutes from Estrella Parkway into the 51. There's also a wreck on the 51, speaking of it, southbound near Highland. That one has got traffic backed up to Northern. Northbound 101, this is going to be the Pima Freeway at B-Day Ventura, wreck off left. This traffic report brought to you by Arizona Business One Stop. Don't put off starting your business. With Arizona Business One Stop, you can quickly and easily easily have your business set up before lunchtime. Detroit Dan, KTAR News.
Humidity climbed overnight as expected as monsoon moisture increases around our state. There's a very slight chance of a storm in the valley, but the heat remains the biggest concern. The high reaches 111 today. Heat warnings are in effect through Monday. I'm ABC 15 meteorologist Iris Hermosillo.
At 8:04, it's 94 degrees in Chandler. Could it be the monsoon has finally arrived? Dew points around the valley in the 60s this morning in some places. And Jessica Leffel with the National Weather Service says there's a chance storms could sneak into the valley later today.
We have a very low chance, probably between 10 and 15%.
As I was saying, it's muggy. I'm feeling sticky right now, just from the walk over from the zone.
Arizona votes. Former Republican state lawmaker Kate Brophy McGee has thrown her hat in the ring in the race to replace Maricopa County Supervisor Bill Gates. Gates says he won't run for re-election next year.
I'm announcing that I am running for the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors in District 3 to bring steady, experienced, and accountable leadership to our county.
In an announcement,
yeah, after the shit show that the last elections were and how much Bill Gates was in the news negatively as a result of it, I don't blame him for not running. And to be honest, I don't think he really did anything wrong. I really don't. I mean, were there some problems? Oh, God, yeah. There were a lot of problems. I mean, you can go back to my vlogs from around election day and shortly thereafter, and Gabe caught a lot of coverage of that, and I threw my 2 cents in at it. But looking at it objectively, which seemed to be something very few people were capable of doing, and I don't think Carrie Lake helped that situation any. As much as I like Carrie Lake, yeah, it's.
As rental prices soar, Wallet Hub is out with its best and worst places to rent in America. 2 Valley cities are near the top. Scottsdale at number 2, Chandler number 5. Overland Park, Kansas is number 1. It's based on several factors, including where you'll get the most bang for your buck, rental attractiveness, quality of life, rent price changes, cost of living,
best or
and
worst?
The availability of jobs. Wallet Hub says Detroit is the worst place to rent. News this week that the FDA has approved a new drug that's proven to be effective in slowing the progression of Alzheimer's. And while it isn't a cure, Dr. Meredith Wicklund with Mayo Clinic in Phoenix says it's a big step in the right direction.
It's a big deal. The first new medicine we've had that has
I think that house off to the left, and I don't know if my
getting protein buildup in the brain related to the.
I don't know if my.
It's the first drug approved to do so. The medication.
Oh, come on! I'm getting this light. I was in the intersection. Damn it! I think I was. Anyway.
It is Prime Day. Amazon's 48-hour sales extravaganza.
Eat a dick, Amazon. Speaking of Amazon, now that's something interesting that happened down at the zone. So I was kind of thinking while I was eating breakfast that definitely a different vibe inside St. Vincent de Paul during breakfast, because a lot of the people that are like heavily strung out on drugs, they're not up yet. So what that left is the elderly, the disabled who have fallen through the cracks of social safety nets that should be taking care of them, and the mentally ill, and the mentally ill, and the mentally ill. Oh yes, the mentally ill were well represented this morning. Good to be there, helping represent that demographic. Also some people that just, had a run of hard luck, but it seemed to be decent people who just have just had a run of hard luck. It does happen. I'm kind of having a run of hard luck right now myself, and I'm trying to manage it with what I got the best I can. I never did go into detail of how I lost a potential Winolo job on Sunday night. But anyway, I wanted to mention that the guy, sorry, they said Amazon Prime Day, and it reminded me. So there was like I said, the mentally ill and the way mentally ill were out there. There was one woman who was literally fighting demons surrounding her. Were they real? I don't know. They looked pretty real to her. And there were a couple moments I kind of thought I could see them. And there were people yelling at her just to sit down and to, calm down and whatever. But I speak from experience when I say that untreated schizophrenia can be a very, very scary thing. And I'm still on the fence as to whether or not demons are real. There may have been some straight up real demons just fucking with that woman, and in her state she could see him. Or it could just be, hallucinations from whatever issue she's having. But I really don't think it was drugs. I really don't. I really, really don't. That's not the person I was wanting to mention, though. But I saw another guy, because as I said, I got there kind of early, and I sort of walked around the Human Services campus, and
is expanding its range limit in the valley another 45 square miles. Our partners at the Phoenix Business Journal report the newly added destinations include Camelback.
I've been wanting to mention that.
Ranch, the farm at South Mountain, and many award-winning resorts across the valley. The move will mean well over 10,000 more trips per week. The closed-down Cracker Jack's amusement park in North Scottsdale may soon be redeveloped. Billionaire George Kurtz, CEO of cybersecurity company CrowdStrike, bought the site for $55.5 million. He plans a project called The Park. It'll have more than 1,000 residential units, new restaurants, retail shops, a 5-star hotel, and more. And plans also call for an open space like Central Park in the middle of the development. On Wall Street right now,
that sounds neat, although this is the first I heard that Cracker Jack shut down, and that's a little sad, although I haven't been there in ages, so guess I haven't been supporting it. Shit's probably been a decade since I've been there. So,
more women wearing blue. Right now, women make up about 12% of the department. Sergeant Melissa Solis tells the 50 Info Show on KTA.
How about we just hire people that are qualified? What a novel concept.
For us to look like the community in which we serve. And I mean, females and males, it's 50-50.
Look like the community in which you serve? Well, you all want to look like fentanyl junkies? I'm buying that.
Some help for when two-wheel drive won't cut it.
The Goodyear Police Department is adding Ford F-150s to the fleet.
Yeah, good for Goodyear. Sorry, I keep hearing other things that remind me of other things. Trying to get my focus back on what happened when I got into the Human Services campus. There was a guy as I was walking down in front of the Andre house. Had a tent. It's kind of set up. His tent is interesting because you can tell he's got like a table set up, and he's sort of a junk dealer. He's buying and selling. He's set up shop there, and good to him for having a decent hustle. He said something to me. I don't even remember what it was. It was kind of random. It's like, hey, there's a guy who looks like he knows what's going on. And I'm like, well, sometimes. and then I walked over to the Jackson Street gate to the Human Services campus, realized it wasn't open yet, and rather than walk all the way around, because from there you got to go a block south to Madison, a block west to 12th Avenue, and then another block north into the main gate there, and then then I'm having to basically backtrack another block to the west, and basically walking in a around the block in full circle. But I mean, hey, I've been up on my feet all night long at HelloFresh, so yeah, I don't want to do. I don't know what time breakfast is being served, and it's not going to be for several hours. I don't feel like doing that walk, and didn't doing that walk in reverse to get back to my car. So I just walked back to him and I'm like, hey, what time does Vinny serve? And he knew. I figured he'd be a guy that would know. But yeah, 7 o'clock. So at that point I walked back in and kind of keeping my eyes open for my daughter. Didn't see her. So I'm kind of hoping that she's just crashed out on my couch when I get home. Just because that's a safe place for her. I mean, I wish she was helping me more, helping me some at all. I wish she was helping herself more, but at this point, with all she's dealing with, I figure as long as she's not stealing from me or letting people that shouldn't be in my apartment, as long as that's the situation, I'm gonna make sure she can still get in and crash on the couch. Dang, this light is taking a long time. Oh, there went another Waymo. Oh, so the Waymo coverage area expanding. As she was mentioning, yeah, it goes quite a bit farther north into Scottsdale. The main expansion that affects me is pretty much in the area that they're covering across central Phoenix. It's been extended to about Maryland Street. So I still can't quite get to Bullocks, but I can get to like 23rd Avenue and Bethany, which is close enough. Not that I see myself taking a Waymo to Bullocks at this point in time, but it's hands down like my favorite private transportation service, and that's pretty exciting news for me. It also means the next time I want to take a Waymo to Gay Denny's, I can take it right to Gay Denny's. So yay for Waymo to Jenny's. Let's see what this guy on the right does. Figure his vehicle could probably accelerate faster than mine can right now. Well, it looks like a Chevy Volt or a Chevy Bolt on the left. Yeah, there's still a part of me that would love to have an electric vehicle. That reminds me, I need to review those utility assistance resources from SRP and see if I can get some help happening with that. So anyway, back to what happened on the Human Services campus. And I did walk away, all the way around to the far gate, looking for my daughter. Didn't see her, and just kind of surveying all the people around, looking for familiar faces. Because at this point, I'm kind of starting to make some friends down there. I'm using the term friends very loosely. I'm certainly keeping guarded a lot of information. Like, I'm not letting people that see me walking around down there know that I have a car or an apartment. Pretty much all I'm saying above and beyond is that no, I'm not staying at Cass. I got somewhere to stay. It's across town. I'm coming down here to eat, which is not a lie. So I saw one guy that definitely caught my eye. I don't know if it was face paint or soap or what, but he had like using something that was like a whitish green, had painted basically a beard on his face, on his clean-shaven face, and it looked pretty bizarre. And I never asked him about that. I'm just somebody that looks like that. I'm just looking. I'm just looking and minding my own business. But I'm watching. I'm observing. At one point, I noticed that there was already a line formed to get into St. Vincent de Paul, and the line was starting to get long. So I thought I better just get in it as quick as I could before it got any longer. And I probably got into the dining room probably about 7:15. By the way, breakfast today, biscuits and gravy. That was not bad. Not great, certainly not on a par with, say, Waffle House, but I've definitely had worse biscuits and gravy. It wasn't bad. Also, a big funky slice of cantaloupe. Not the easiest thing for me to eat these days, but I ate it. I like cantaloupe when I'm in the mood for it. That said, I wasn't particularly in the mood for it. Well, by the time I got in there, the dining room was pretty full, so I'm trying to find a place to sit. Yeah, not trying to sit by somebody who's so crazy that they're trying to fight demons. And I want to be a couple tables away from wherever that's happening. And definitely trying not to sit by anybody who smells really bad. I'm not even just saying that to be mean, but just like, I'm trying to eat. That's not conducive to eating. Generally speaking, I try to sit near reasonably attractive middle-aged women and older guys who seem to be sane and sober and reasonably clean. That's kind of what I'm looking to sit next to. Yeah, I ended up sitting next to face paint guy. I'm not trying to say anything. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of options of places to sit, and it was at least a clean space. And that guy was at least quiet and like definitely well into the realm of crazy, but keeping to himself. So just quiet, eating his breakfast. That's fine. That's fine. And sitting there for a while, mostly just kind of eating and looking at stuff on my phone, and I did that quite a bit of that in line, and I might explain more of that later, but just mostly the big thing is just trying to figure out when the hell I'm going to see some money for Winolo. There's been progress on that, by the way. During my first, there's 2 breaks. There's like the first lunch break and the second lunch. There's 2 30-minute breaks. One's a paid break, one's an unpaid break. So the same amount of break as I had at Amazon, but instead of having 2 separate 15 minutes, it's just like a solid 30, which is actually probably a good thing because of the amount of the whole suit up ritual for going into the cooler. And I'm not even going to try to get sidetracked on that. At some point I might explain what that whole ritual is, because there's quite a bit to it. I got it down pat at this point. Oh, and finally got a nice pair of gloves that fit. And they're pretty damn nice gloves too, by the way. I don't like them as much as the kind that we had at Amazon, but they're different. They're good solid work gloves that I intend to keep well after when I'm working at HelloFresh. It's so great seeing Malika every day, even if I don't see her a whole lot. Anyway, so I'm sitting next to the guy that's got his face painted. Kind of keeping to myself, not really talking to anybody. I look over at him, and I just happen to notice that he's wearing a KRB3 hoodie. And for those who don't know, it's not something I mention a lot, but KRB3 was the other half of the Amazon building I worked at. The east half of the building was KRB3, which is long-term storage, and then the west half of the building was GUIR3, which is where I work. Amazon treats it as 2 separate facilities, but they are shared together in the same house. Ooh. The big white, that just happened. The big white little minibus there has got an orange tag on it. I should write down the information on it and see if maybe I can somehow acquire that. I know there's a way to get abandoned vehicles like that if you know about them. I tell you, Rob would be the person to ask about it. I would bet if anybody knows how that works, it would be Rob. And what would I do with that? Oh, I can think of all kinds of possibilities. Can I afford it right now? Probably not. But hey, all it would take is just the right job, and my shit could turn around real fast. I mean, my God, if I was able to get 5 shifts a week at HelloFresh, my situation would turn around really fast, through Winolo. Unfortunately, I haven't seen anything more other than tomorrow night offered on Winolo. All right, I'm going to finish this story once I get inside. I really need to get inside, but the face painting guy was interesting.